Hello and welcome. You're listening to Let's Show Now. Today is obviously a Thursday because we're live.
It's 8-ish.
Just about, almost.
Almost. And you are joined by, of course, up first, everyone's favourite Curry Kitten.
Hello.
Our Lord and Master has returned.
Hello.
Praise be to the FPV gods. And the man who doesn't know what day the Drone X show is.
Booked us in on a Thursday. It's Tuesday and Wednesday.
But
I know I
Thursdays
am.
are drone days, right?
Yep.
Thursdays are drone days. They should respect that. Yeah,
And the person who should have
been
looked
busy.
at the website himself, Brian. Hey, hello.
Yeah, me and Jack were all scheduled to go to a drone expo and talk to people in suits about the fantastic possibilities in modern military warfare enabled by things that we dearly want just to keep peaceful and hobby-like. And we would cry salty floods of tears and appeal to their good nature. But alas, none of it was to be because we screwed up and booked the wrong day off our respective jobs.
Painless is so annoyed at me from the cock up. He refused to answer the call and hasn't called me back.
Wow.
I thought, isn't that just that? Isn't that the norm? Just like that's where we are.
Well, you even managed to wind Painless up to the point of not replying to you. That's amazing.
If only one of us had actually read the website. Yeah, it's been a crazy time because I started a new job. Not that that's much of an excuse, but yeah, I somehow conflated the 2 days. It's a bit of a shame, but
Tuesday, Thursday, similar.
I even had someone call me up and ask if I was attending, and it was at that point I was like, I wonder why they're calling up today. And yeah, that was mine. Far ahead.
We're probably on the banned list now for saying that we're going and not showing up.
You're a no-show. Useless no-show. Cannot be trusted.
Whatever. Yep. Tailspin was first in the chat. Caroline was second, and third was Ben.
Caroline actually posted on the Discord at 5:02 show meant to be starting. A talk from the Drone X Expo that's been posted up on the Drone and Sundry YouTube channel, all about Gatwick. So there you go. It wouldn't have all been military stuff. It'd have been Gatwick as well.
That'd be Whingers as well. Fun, great.
You missed out on all these things.
Yeah.
Instead, you presumably stayed home getting out the scuba gear.
Oh my word! Yeah, it's revolting.
It's been torrential.
We've had a bit of a Thames Water nasty flood situation. As you may be aware, this country has a primitive sewage system with just the one pipe TM, which has the benefit of being cheap, and it was made by someone else 100 or 150 years ago. But the considerable downside of shooting raw sewage out onto the street when there's too much rain, as opposed to it being in a separate pipe.
Fatbergs and dead rats.
Yeah, so we're current. Yeah, there's a horrible situation just around the corner from here. That happens every time it rains. Thames Water have been down with a power washer, but it still smells like bad things.
Well, there's a big hole in the main road outside mine at the moment because the floodwater removed the manhole cover and moved it far away. And
that's impressive.
There is just a big. Actually, I think half of the because it's like one of the big manhole covers that splits into
two triangles.
Yeah, and one of them has fallen down the hole, and the other one is floated away.
That's quite a bit of water pressure to carry off.
Oh yeah,
what's that? Like 20-30 kilos of steel.
It's not a small amount of water, but yeah,
Tony,
it's just a big man.
With the mention of Gatwick,
yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, there on his van.
I know. Do you know what? A few weeks ago, I was trying to troll through Tony's past catalogue on Facebook, And I don't know whether either one of you two are friends with the old version of Tunstar, because I've got a feeling that's the Facebook profile that has the footage of Tony on top of the van.
Oh, good. I hope it's lost forever.
Yes. So there's now a bounty. There is a
who can get that video? Yeah.
£5.
Surely Frank can find it. If there's a video out there, Frank is like a private detective at finding stuff on the internet.
We've talked about it on here in the past, and then someone's put it in the chat. I mean, all right, I'm going.
Repost.
Again. I don't know what.
Repost.
If you put it on, I'm going off.
See you in 3 months.
No. Did you put the spare key back out?
Oh, I didn't even check. Do you know what? I think my tumble dryer's had it, so I'm pissed off because my washer dryer's not working. I've had it 7 years. It's worked perfect. I cleaned the whole washer dryer because it was stinking the other day, and now it don't bloody dry my clothes. So might have to buy a new one or get someone out to have a look. Jack, come round and fix me tumble dryer, bro.
I can recommend a bunch of people called Spin Doctors. They were very effective at replacing awkward bits.
Spin Doctor? Is that an actual thing?
Spin Doctors, yeah. They do washer dryers. I wholeheartedly recommend them.
Let's throw now the experience of talking about missing events and tumble dryers.
Oh, middle age.
I know, like we are thoroughly now.
You should have joined us before we started when we were talking about the size of game carts.
I know.
How exciting it was getting.
Oh, look at that. Spin Doctor. Cool.
We've got some new diagnosis. Clive said probably needs a new drying element.
But it's so typical that I've cleaned it and now it's not working. I've put it
when
on.
you say cleaned it, you mean I broke it and now it doesn't work anymore. I mean, we can just swap it round, can't we?
I tried to wash my mountain bike parts in there, and now look what's happened.
Oh, it's so annoying. Yeah, it probably is just the heating element or whatever. But I love that washing.
Late.
I don't want to buy a new one.
18 minutes.
I'm sorry, Mr. Right Until I Fly. I'm sorry. I'm late for class.
I know. I want you here 2 hours before, and we're going to play a load of videos at
Right,
you.
we've been waiting now. Now we can start talking about the drone-related subjects. Our viewers may have been thinking that this was a diversion or we'd lost material. We were waiting for Cole. And now we can ask him about the camera profiles and all of these little doodads.
Cole's been flying. In my defence, I helped Cole.
Yes, he did.
By shouting at him until he left the house.
Cool. It's not raining in Canada. Cole, tell us what you've been up to.
I have been deconstructing my quad 5 million times in a row to determine why I'm getting video noise in my goggles that actually happens to be not from anything on my drone, and it's just my goggles. Yeah.
Get in, Fat Shark.
Love it when that happens.
Yeah. So basically, I mean, here's the thing with analog video, you expect noise, you expect breakup, you expect some level of, sometimes you get the lines if there's some weird electrical stuff, and you expect analog breakup regardless. So that's one thing, but you don't expect, at least in my opinion, and if in my few years of flying, you don't expect random like cross-hatching electrical noise in the feed along with your analog breakup.
Got
and
yourself
stuff.
like a new phone or anything recently? A new fantastic little Tamagotchi or something that totally isn't a spy cam?
I didn't. No, I didn't. But I will say this. So I'm using Fat Shark HDOs. That's been my bread and butter since I got into the hobby. Well, I basically tracked down like someone selling another pair of HDOs for basically a song, like next to nothing. And I A/B'd them. One pair of HDOs with the same module, the same battery, the same whatever, in the same environment is perfectly good. Other pair has this weird electrical noise happening in it.
Do you fix it? do you crack open the casing in the knowledge that maybe the funny little optical bits will never go quite back into the right place?
Yeah. That's so. It's really hard to get a picture of a screen in the goggles.
Jack, we can't actually see that.
What are you holding up there?
He's holding images. My attempt at taking a picture of the screens on my Fat Sharks essentially, and it doesn't show up in the DVR, so it's not.
Well, that's something. So at least the signal's clean when it hits the DVR, so you can kind of narrow down where it's happening.
Well, so basically, what
You've
I ended
got
up doing was
DVR though, haven't you? So
well, what I ended up doing was
he's got a power play, but no batteries for it.
Yeah, no batteries yet.
That's the best.
Yeah, yeah. But basically, I don't know why it happened, when it happened, how it happened, where, who, what, why, when, whatever the answer, whatever the question is. But out of nowhere, I started noticing these really annoying things in my goggles, and it bugged the crap out of me to the point where
DJI users.
I was by myself in the middle of nowhere, and even in my house,
you just looked around and there's someone flying DJI and just that guy again.
Yeah. Well, Jack was my my patron saint in this whole regard because he's a troubleshooting genius in this scenario. So I was pretty lost, I'll be honest, because I tried another camera on my drone. No, wasn't the camera. I tried another VTX. Wasn't the VTX. I tried transmitter on, transmitter off. I tried taking everything off the board and literally just isolating a camera, the video system, XT60 that I wired up. Not even no flight control. No flight controller, no ESCs, powered, nothing. Still had the issue. I've tried module in, module out. I tried literally everything, and even with nothing on, there's still these weird little things going on.
So you get that signal with nothing coming in from the module, just a black screen from the module, and you get that.
Yeah,
that's rough.
Yeah. So then I ended up finding, like I said, a cheapo, or not a cheapo, but like a cheap. Someone selling a pair of other HDOs for cheap. And I figured, HDO and HDO, that should be a good comparison. Although I guess there's different versions and iterations and whatnot. Well, the new ones, they don't have this problem. So yeah, something's up. And I've emailed Fat Shark and I had an email back, but I haven't gotten another one back from them in a couple days. So I'm
well, what did the email back say?
We are no longer trading.
What did the email back say? Jack, do you want to pipe in here for me, buddy?
Have you tried not having a transmitter on?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Basically asking what my what transmitter I'm using. If it's on, am I outside with the transmitter off? Or have it on, but move it away from the goggles.
You pointed out it happened with nothing else switched on. What did they say then?
Well, what I said was it still persists across multiple quads, multiple receiver modules, multiple cameras, multiple VTXs, even with transmitter off, and whatever. I'm still waiting to hear back. But
yeah, sounds like something between the LCD panel and the actual RF. What would it be, like a demodulator or something? The driver board, right, Jack?
Yeah, driving the OLED screens. That's probably what it is. It's probably got too hot.
Yeah, Andy just said sounds like a capacitor has gone on the goggle board, maybe. The other thing was, which was I thought was really odd, was you in theory HDOs, you have two pairs, they should be basically identical, right? Mm-hmm. Or am I completely wrong?
But because the electronics deteriorate, don't they? So what Andy's saying is that something on the circuit board has just aged out, or it's gotten too hot.
Yeah.
Maybe they were left on a while. Maybe you just got bad luck, and some components fail faster than others. And somewhere on that board is a bad component.
Well, the only reason why I was like, two should be the same is on these new HDOs that I have. I don't know if any of you have noticed this on Fat Tracks before, but in the screens, it's almost like you can see like a grid of like the pixels or something.
Yeah.
Although on my original ones that are now, giving me issues, I never noticed that before. But on these new versions, I've noticed that, which is, I don't know. I also am like insanely like OCD when it comes to like looking at details, and I'll notice little things that will just bug the crap out of me.
Well, that is literally how OLEDs work. There's a grid of it's an emissive technology, right? So unlike LCDs, when effectively you've got like kind of a stained glass window of liquid crystal with a light behind it, with OLEDs, each pixel is its own light source. It's its own light emitting diode in each pixel. So the only way that you're not seeing the individual pixels is if they're not properly in focus, or if some part of that is like slightly blurring the image before it gets to your eye. So you might have just been wearing them for so long, there's a bit of gunk in there.
Yeah.
you can't quite get it.
Well, you know what? It's one of those things where I'm like I was saying before, like I can 100% put up with analog breakup and multipathing and electrical noise if for some reason there's any issue with my motors or whatever showing up in the feed. But I can't deal with that plus an additional thing that, like, because FPV is all about the experience that you're seeing through your eyes. So like it definitely
you've come to the right church, Cole. You've come to the right church, and the church is going to tell you, pray, get down on your knees, and go digital.
Yeah, I know. The thing is, I love analog. I don't know, man. Like I love how cheap it is. I love how simple it is. How small it is.
Maybe you should get the HD Zeros. They've got like great analog performance, and you can stick with the analog vibe with HD Zero.
Yeah.
Look, I don't mind analog, but as soon as you fly them side by side in the same location, you're like, oh my god, what am I doing? Why am I flying digital? This is lovely. You can see what you're doing and everything. Look, that tree's got branches and little branches. It's like that.
Well, you know what?
Pony likes the grass.
The grass is nice.
I will admit, like when I do these A/B comparisons of, I think even you've done somewhat recently, right, Curry? On some of your more recent videos, I think you've
only accidentally, just because I was in the same field and I was flying a couple of analog quads and then a walk snail quad, and then as soon as if you fly analog first, you go to walk snail, you're like, oh my god, this is amazing. If you fly walk snail first and go to analog, you then pick your quad up. It's like something's wrong here. Something's wrong with the camera. It's not giving the right picture.
Yeah. You know what? There's no denying like the quality and the whatever advantages of digital. I'm just like, analog is so much more predictable, I guess, though, when it comes to breakup and it coming back. And I don't know if you guys have actually seen that sort of issue right now with that. I think
the O3s
talking about. Yeah, O3s with the newest goggles where like they won't reconnect or something, and until you like rearm the quad. So it's kind of like a fatal flaw right now. But I guess it's not really
and not really a big enough problem in terms of DJI's overall market mind share that they're going to do anything about it. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
no way.
either way.
Oh, sorry, Cole. Go.
That's okay, buddy. Go ahead, dude.
I was going to say it's inherited the BR Heli 32 bug.
I think they just haven't tested it. They're just like some dude flew it once, like work done, which is obviously good enough for casual flyers. But if you want to really thrash it to the limits, which we kind of do on a regular basis, it's not good enough, is it?
Testing? Yeah. That's what users do, isn't it?
That's the Microsoft approach. Get rid of the QA team and let everyone do beta testing.
Yeah, sorry, Cole. What were you saying?
You know what? I actually can't remember, but I think it's okay.
I was going to say that digital isn't all rosy, and I think in my mind's eye, I think it's going to be absolutely awesome. Now, every time I fly digital, I notice that MPEG corruption, I notice the blocks. And you do see them over grass and through leaves. You're like, it looks really detailed, and you get to a certain distance, and the encoder's like, you don't need to see that. And it just puts a block there instead.
The worst place I fly is where there's trees either side and grass down the middle, and walk snail just says, okay, This is green. I'm just going to do this area
Like
green,
a lake of green
and I
soup.
think that'd be fine.
Yeah.
Frank,
Oh,
it is complete.
what has Jack constructed?
It's not on the windowsill. Feeling
It's not on
brave.
the windowsill.
What
It's
gauge of
inside.
wire is that XT60, Jack?
Probably not enough.
Ooh, bombs are us.
Yeah.
I think the balance lead might have thicker wire than the XC60.
I think
This
so.
is a first.
I see. What- I'm just curious as to. I guess there's an XT60 on there because you're just going to put it on a 5-inch, aren't you? But wow, that is something.
Well,
cool.
it was just to try and I put it together.
Spicy.
I'd forgotten the order of how the cells go, and I was chatting to Cole, only like basically half listening to him and half trying not to short this together and tie. I'm sorry, buddy. But you know, like chatting to Cole, kind of like it kind of gives me a kick up the arse to do stuff because like he's like troubleshooting, he's like charging, he's going out to fly, he's sending invoices, and I just when I'm not chatting to Cole, I'm just sleeping constantly. The gauge of wire, yes, I will admit, I can beef it up. I've got no problem with that. This is just
I mean, they're
just
lithium ions,
temporary.
right?
It was just a test, wasn't it?
Yeah. But it been on the windowsill and it kind of got a bit out of balance. Like I started charging it up, and like one cell was like 390, the middle cell was really low, so that was like 479, 78, and then the other one was like 3.80 on the money. And
I mean,
those brown cells, Jack?
You did pick up a bunch of vapes and then keep them on your windowsill for a couple of months. So.
yeah, this is the lithium polymer. You can't use that word. The breathing, smoking simulator.
I think in South Park they call them pussy sticks, if that works.
Pussy stick, yeah. Pussy sticks. Frank did the maths on this, and it's a couple of watt hours, I think.
So is that safe for international flying?
No, I mean look at it.
Is it even safe?
Dude, that
I mean,
looks basically the
legally
exact
speaking,
same. That looks the exact same as my lithium ion packs, dude.
Yeah. That is within the flight restrictions. You can pop that in your luggage and off you go.
No, definitely not.
Talking of bombs, there's one just off Brighton in there at the moment.
Really?
Yeah, be aware, Jack, that you might
Looks
get
the same, Jack.
some water coming
that's
your
not
way.
too shabby.
Mine has a banana on it.
Banana.
This has
Extra
been
bonus watt hour for the banana.
This is not a bomb. I'd like to explain.
Well, it
This
could be
is-
under the certain circumstances,
A lipo battery.
like if you try to fly it.
If he leaves it on the windowsill any longer in the
Frank?
rain.
Have you got anything that will fly this? Are you still willing to test this?
Sure, why not?
It's here.
You
Bring
can go on
some
a plane
decent
for about
gauge
2
wire.
days. You could fly.
What is it
around
like?
with it.
Is it like a 6S or what?
It's a 3S.
3S.
So it's 4 in parallel, 3 cell.
It sounds like it should go on your tricopter.
Yeah.
It doesn't fit
4 in parallel. That's fat, man.
Gaffer tape.
unless I
Fixed.
tape it to the bottom of the
Well, that's what's
battery.
in
I suppose
Wow,
the more
it's
you put in
just that.
parallel, the
Let's do
likelier
it
you are to
now.
have
Live
a
fireworks
decent
show. Go, go, go.
No, it's going to take ages to
Live
charge.
on air and on fire.
Yes. 2 of the rules that shouldn't
So
be.
you're just going to charge it
I
at
mean,
like
look,
500
plane
milliamps
first,
and leave it all day.
then multi-rotor. Okay, that's the deal.
Has anybody got a plane that big? It looks quite heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Is
Half a
It's
kilo or so.
quite chunky.
It's got to be at least a pound of battery, surely.
Yeah. I mean, it's. You want me to weigh it? I can weigh
Yeah,
it.
weigh it.
Yeah, do it. Do it.
Yeah,
I
now.
saw,
Do it. Do it now.
I saw them, Mandy RC, on Facebook. Someone's making them in Hull, I think, maybe.
65 amp continuous. Andy RC is asking about some lithium packs.
That sounds amazing. That sounds beautiful.
that's
130 burst, I think I read, or something like that.
Yeah,
How many
that sounds
parallel
great.
cells do they have to get that kind of oomph? That's got to be at least a 4p.
Yeah, it's this big.
I don't know, man. Like my 4,000 milliamp hour O line or gold line, as Chris.
I mean, they all say they can do this number, but I can tell you from putting those things on a 5-inch and trying to cruise it around, if you draw anything more than like 10 amps, it just goes all sorts of wrong. Like,
I don't know, man. The ones I have
is where it's happy.
The one that I have is the 4,000 milliamp hour 6S 1P gold line or O line ones. They're rated for 45 amp continuous, but can handle even more than that if they get a burst. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You must have better cells. I've got 18650s in mine, and they struggle to get over 10 amps. They really don't like it. The voltage just goes way down.
See, it's all about the moly cells, man. Like the P45Bs, I think P45As. But then they're even coming out with like some new ones now that they're able to really handle some current, which is really
there's
cool.
A massive gulf in cost between the regular ones and the premium cells, though, right?
Well, I don't know, man. Like I feel like you can get. I mean, we have a moly cell plant in Canada, and there was a moly cell plant in Taiwan, and I was looking up prices, and it was like, if you get them, direct, you can get like a cell or two for less than $10 each. I think around like.
So you just got to skip the retailers and go straight to the stores.
Yeah, because I was actually looking recently because I actually want to try lithium ion on my 5-inch, like just for cruising. Because I was checking out my OSD, and I'm like, when I'm cruising around on my 5-inch, I'm only drawing maximum like 10 amps. So if I say picked up like a 3,000 milliamp hour lithium ion that's rated for 30 amps, I should be able to cruise for like at least 10 minutes. Is my theory. So, but then I was looking up the cost of like the pre-made packs compared to like if you want to buy the cells, and you spend about $5 more for them to pre-make it, unless you go to say like a vape store or to a direct thing. Then you're actually saving about like you're only saving maybe a few bucks if you buy them like from a store, like a regular retailer. But if you're going to like a vape or sort of like direct type of scenario, they're only like $5 to $10 max each.
So Caroline's saying you can get them for £7. The trouble I was having was when I last looked, they were all sold out, and so I was kind of forced to look at the costlier stuff. But yeah, I had some good results from this 5-inch. I had like an ultralight 5-inch on 2203 motors with bi-blades, and really ultralight. It was set up with like 2950 kV motors, so it was fine on Briess, and I flew it on lithions, but yeah, just didn't like, as soon as I tapped the throttle, the voltage would go through the floor, so I had to fly it so carefully. Yeah,
no doubt. Yeah, there's let me see if I can find it right here. So like this is the one sheet that I was looking at. So the INR 2700 M50A, they're 5,000 milliamp hour cells. Oh wait, you know what? This is the wrong one because that says 15 amps. That's the wrong one. I gotta find the right one.
I never thought I'd see the day.
If you compare it to the B model that was released last week, you can see actually there's a 12 to 15% improvement in the area above 15 amps.
Tone, do you fancy a game of Hangman in the WhatsApp?
Yeah, start it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think lithium ion technology it's starting to get pretty advanced, man. Like I bet you in a year from now, there's going to be like, I mean, I'm not obviously I can't see the future, but I wouldn't be surprised if we got up to like, I don't know, 70, 80 amp continuous in the next like couple of years.
People
maybe
keep noise about changing battery chemistry. I heard all the electric cars coming out of China are on sodium chemistry instead of lithium.
Well, the ones catching fire or not ones catching
fire? There's this one technology where they use something to keep the things apart, some liquid or something, so the battery density can become better, and if you pierce it, it doesn't burst into flames or something. I can't remember what it was. Yeah.
So the sodium batteries aren't as dense, they don't have as long a range, but they're just way cheaper because sodium is much more abundant than lithium.
Yes,
So
isn't
way cheaper.
aren't they already in laptops and some? I think they're English. There's an English brand. I've watched them doing laptop
Tone,
batteries
what a
and stuff.
legend! You've got an LDO sticker on your goggles.
Oh, I knew some cunt would find it.
Drone
get
pilot.
get in! Oh, mate, pre-orders on Tony Dunn Gatwick shirt.
Screen capture.
You can put that on a t-shirt if you want. I'm going to talk. I'll do my voiceover. Well, I'm fucking really clear, and I had,
It's something someone should say if they were flying around Gatwick. Yeah, I was just looking for other people flying with my goggles.
That's how you get away with
To fucking bend you up and shove you in the back of that van.
it.
That's funny.
Look at it.
Yeah, Tony's handcuffed and just like
He's looking meaningfully at the female officer and going, "I'd rather you got me in the back of the van."
So
I swore. I do apologise. I think I said the C word.
160 grams.
Dear,
It
dear.
is 10
All down.
centimeters by 6 centimeters.
That's what she said.
By
And if anyone wants to meet Jack, he's
single.
If you could have made it a 6-cell, Jack, I could have put it on this. This is ready to go.
Ooh,
And
she's a
it's
big one.
small and very gentle.
The person who gives me those
Look at that.
vapes would probably be dead by the time I get enough to make a 4P6S.
well, so I found the real deal ones. It's the Molicel P50Bs. They're 5,000 milliamp hours, rated for 60 amp discharge current. Like,
Nice.
that's a lot. Like 60
know.
amps. Like anything
10
you
each.
put onto that is going to get a little bit toasty, isn't it? Isn't the whole cell just going to get pretty effing hot pretty quick?
well, it says continuous discharge rating max is 60 amps, ADC temp cutoff.
So it says continuous discharge 80 amp, but then there's an ATC. So how long before you hit ATC and it just cuts out? That's
Well,
kind of
I mean-
contradictory. If it's continuous, doesn't that mean until the cell's empty? But then there's a temperature cutoff. So
Well, it's a little dance. You have to experiment. And you know what? Like, I actually am really curious about starting to build my own lithium ion packs just for the experimentation process of it. Because I don't know, man. Like, I love flying my 5-inch and I love flying my 7-inch. But if I can get longer flight times with cruising on my 5-inch, I mean, I'm using the same VTXs. I'm using the same. I mean, I'm not using diversity receivers, but like, I mean, I don't see why you couldn't do some nice flying with a 5-inch if you get better capacity that's not huge. Because that's the
Absolutely.
problem with LiPo is like I'm using like 1350 milliamp hour batteries on my 5-inch, and you could get 3,000 lithium ion. Yeah, it's a little bit heavier, maybe like I think maybe around like 50 grams heavier or so, but like you're getting way more capacity.
well, this is kind of the equation that Cinewhoops have, right? They just completely up that ratio of motors to battery in favor of the battery to get the longest flight time on the assumption that you're not really going to be doing anything acro with it, right?
Yeah.
I've just found I have a Molicel 18650, which I found pretty good. At the time, it was all about the Sony VC6, which were pretty good as well. But that Molicel was about the same, I found. This was for flying. There was this really weird quad that would fly in a single 18650 for about 10 minutes. And that's what these were for. But it was pretty good.
Yeah, I actually ordered. I just ordered a pack, another O-line pack, which I was hoping was going to arrive before this weekend, which I don't think it's going to. But it's got the Sony VTC6s in there, 3,000 milliamp hour. Yeah, I'm excited to try those out because they're like pretty highly regarded, I think, as far as
the O-line packs were really good value, but they haven't been in stock here for years. I got one for my goggles. I think it's like a 3S pack that has this fancy little battery indicator on the side. It's pretty useful.
Well, you know what? I another project that when I got those HDOs, they actually came with the Fat Shark battery that has the micro USB chart ability with it. But whoever owned them previously, I don't know what happened to the balance lead, but they just like sliced the balance lead off. So there was just like 2 little wires just like hanging out like this. So I that was a repair that I just did. Well, a buddy of mine helped me because he had a crimp kit tool or whatever, and that's done. But yeah, it's
You have a future with drawers of tiny little plugs, hundreds of drawers of tiny little plugs.
oh god,
I keep mine in many boxes.
yeah. I'm like, do I get one of those? I'm like, it could come in handy someday, and.
I tried to get them, but then you never have the right size, and you just end up getting more and more different sizes of plugs and crimp things. It gets exponential.
Yeah,
dangerous.
But you know what?
The most dangerous thing is having a job where you have the ability to buy the really expensive ones, and then you get used to those, and then you can't use anything else after that.
Yeah, your standard is like
a really good crimping tool actually makes crimping really easy, and then like a normal crimping tool is a pain.
I don't even know how many newtons pressure I'm using. This is outrageous. Exactly. How can I even do this?
It doesn't just hold the things and fold them all over for me. Like you have to like and use some level of skill.
Where's the espresso attachment? I don't believe it.
It's yeah.
Well,
if you struggle with crimping, it's probably not you. That's my suggestion.
Fair enough. It's just not easy, and it's probably the tool that sucks, right?
I mean, as a computer guy, I was introduced to crimping via network cables, and I've viewed a spectrum of tools from the really nice stuff that some network engineer who'd been doing it for years would let you borrow for 5 minutes, to the stuff that your employer bought you because they thought it was good enough, that was made of plastic and bent when you tried to close it shut.
Oh, that's not good.
It's pretty awful, some of them. Yeah. It didn't make me want to, it made me want to make it someone else's problem in its entirety. So I just try and buy the leads these days.
I feel like network ends, the RJ45s are like another level of pain.
I didn't know that soldering was a thing back in the day when like my work colleague showed me how he attached RJ45s, and it was just this thing that went clicky clicky and it was done. You just pushed on this thing clicky clicky and you plugged it in and that was it. Amazing.
Nice.
It used to be simple, and now it's like there's crosstalk tolerances and additional foil layers, and it's just gotten way out of hand.
Well, you know what? The local buddy of mine that helped me basically, fix the balance lead because he had the crimp kit, like he basically shared that same sentiment of what everyone's kind of saying, like it's a pain in the butt. But he made it look fairly easy. He was able to do it within a couple minutes, and he's like, okay, which side does the little metal piece have to sit in the thing before I do it? Oh, wait, actually, it has to be the other way. And then, oh, okay, I think it's in there. The wire's in. And then, okay, I'm going to squeeze it. Okay, it's done. But it's almost like a black magic, really.
There's a definite knack to it. Also, like even when you're doing pretty well, make sure you've got more crimpy endy bits than you think you need. However many you think you need more, because otherwise the last one that you're putting on will disintegrate as you crimp it.
Yeah, because you basically have to.
The rule.
It's a ton of pressure that you're bending it and turning it, and
on
if you do it wrong, you just completely destroy it, right? You just like completely ruin it. Yeah. It's oh gosh.
Hey, you got there in the end. Did you do anything fancy and like swap the micro USB plug for a USB-C while you're at it?
No, I haven't done that. Although I have done some through-hole repair recently, which has been pretty fun. Through holes, whatever. I don't know if I told you about it, but basically, I had a Blue Yeti mic that I think I did tell you guys about it. Did I not? Yeah.
Yeah, last week I think.
It's successfully repaired now. I don't know if it was at that stage last time we talked, but
yeah, we already covered that. Sorry, man.
That's all good.
All good. That's fine. Tony, how's your DJI quad going? Your new
the Neo.
Well, I had to jump to get it out of the sky yesterday.
I saw that. I saw that.
I took it out and I literally just put it in my pocket. I had my phone up, obviously, because I was mountain biking and my phone's attached to my bike anyway. But I thought, I'll just take it out for a shot on the way home from riding. Didn't bother using the phone. I was like, leave the phone in my pocket, take the drone out, press the button on the top, and it cycles through droney, follow, all that malarkey, and then you press it again, and then it takes off. Done that perfect. Rode down about a minute and a half footage. Got off my bike, put my bike down, and it was up quite high, and I was like, okay. I held my hand out, and it was like, fuck off. It just stayed up there, and I kept going like this with my hand, and I was like, you little shitting thing. I think you could have just put the phone back on, and then it would have connected, and you could have said land, but the whole thing was like
not to use a phone or
not to use my phone. That was the test. I ended up having to jump up, grab it.
I've now got this image of like you going back to like your car, getting a stepladder out, and like
Yeah.
Is there a long
Yeah. Go and get it.
There was a video on his Instagram story, and it was so funny because you're just like you're putting your hand out, you're like, come to me, and it's like it's not coming, and you can like see the frustration in your face, and then all of a sudden you see a Tony hopping up, just grabbing the drone from the sky.
I must say, it turns off very, very quickly though. So once I grabbed it and just turned it sideways, it literally goes boop, turns off.
Nice,
really, really quick. So you could just grab it out of the sky and turn it off. Quite easy, but it was just annoying that I was going like a penis. Luckily, I was in the woods and no one could see me, but it was just So test failed. I've got to do it again.
Well, I do find that the DJI drones are pretty good for that. Like, I remember like the Mavics and the mini drones. It's like if you have it coming down towards you, you kind of hold the bottom and just like as soon as it gets past a certain angle, motors just cut. But apparently it's not good for it. Supposedly, I don't know.
Well, I've only done
because what? And if there's no resistance on the motors, what's bad?
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I'm like, people say that there's something wrong about doing it that way, but there's no obstruction. There's no.
If you jam something in the motor, you can see that being a bad idea, right?
It's just like a safety feature, really, right?
Yeah. No way can you get 10 to 14 minutes out of it.
No,
seven at best.
No
I
way.
don't know where they got the 17 minutes.
You start at the top of a really tall mountain and you're just constantly descending.
This is the theoretical laboratory test, like what range is on an electric car versus reality.
It's exactly 23.2 degrees C.
Yeah. I don't even know how they got that in a windless room until it landed. I think they even forced it up because it starts to try to land at 9%. And I think they probably forced it until it was like nearly dead and then landed it. But
how they force it? They keep knocking it up with a stick.
It's a bit of an updraft.
You can just press up on it. It will just keep going up. Well, most of these quads, when they're DJI quads, when they're dying phases and beeping at you, I think you still can keep pushing them up. But
if you give it 100% throttle, it will eventually go up. But anything below like 90, it's like, no, I'm coming down.
Chivvy it along.
I'm enjoying using it though. The ease of use of it is just brilliant, and the size of it is. And I quite like. I'm quite happy with the video quality. Really, it's not. It doesn't.
Yeah,
look
it looks
too
fine.
bad.
It looks perfectly fine, man. From what I've seen you post, like on
I mean, it's
Instagram,
better
social
on
media,
stories and stuff.
It's
Obviously.
all about use case, isn't it? There's some people who'll get snobby and say that the top end DJI quads are not good enough because they need so and so film camera. But it just depends what you want to use the footage for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I've sat there and watch it back when I've done the one where it climbs up the hill, and then I go for about 5 minutes on my MTB in the sun, and I don't think it looks too bad on a 55-inch TV. I'd like to be able to turn the sharpness down on it, and it's
yeah, it does have that sort of digital whatever look. Yeah,
sparkly. You get sparkly grass and sparkly edges on objects a bit.
Yeah, a little bit of that. It's just a
small
bit too
sensor
sharp.
over sharpening. Yeah.
Yeah, it's off. It's little. But apart from that, I'm quite enjoying the little thing.
I mean, I guess it's made for people that are just like, you know, they just want a drone that will go up and it just works, right?
Do you think it noticeably worse than the O3, or is it in the same ballpark as the O3? Do you think, Tony?
I don't know.
I bet you it's worse, to be honest. But like from what I've seen on like an actual monitor, a half-inch sensor is not terrible, man. I mean, like,
and phones have less than that, right? Phones are half-inch or less, so just about the fancy processing you can do on it.
And the lens too. The lens makes a big difference.
Really good for the price, and you know, trouble is now it's raining and I'm not going anywhere. So.
On that subject, has anybody got anything at least planned for the next week? When I looked, I think Saturday looked reasonable my way, but I wasn't sure about next week.
Saturday seems to be the window.
Yeah, Saturday looks like
small itty bitty window.
Saturday, I thought I might go and see Alien at the cinema. So,
nice.
You want to do that on a Sunday when it's raining?
Yeah.
Yeah, when everybody goes.
Exactly.
I think I'm going to ride to the coast and back Saturday, and then I think I've been told that I've got to go down to my parents' caravan way because it's my birthday next Tuesday, and I haven't done anything. No arrangements for a party, nothing. So I've been.
I thought you were booking at a nightclub.
The whole DJ thing mucked me about, and it's quite expensive. It was like a flight's worth of money, so I thought I'll just go somewhere. And then I thought, where are you going to go with, Tone? I don't know. Go on your own.
And then he said, I'll stay at home and have a drink.
Yeah.
She found the sun.
Oh yeah, look.
Jack, you did that, didn't you? Yeah.
You got some sun? Send it over.
I know. Frank was sending me photos of today's cat who was working with them.
Yeah, my supervisor for today. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Was the belly soft?
Cute.
Very.
Oh.
Enormous fluffy belly. Yeah.
Bellies are just traps. If you touch them, the claws will go in. That's my experience.
This was a very laid back cat.
Wow.
Yeah, some cats just don't care. They're like, I'm chilling.
I don't know why every cat I've owned is a psychopath and will like set a trap and then try and murder you.
My cats are pretty chill. They're just somewhat irritating and just walk across my keyboard, fall asleep on the edge of my keyboard, and act like I'm the problem. You know.
Well, you realize that they're the actual owner. You are the pet.
Yeah.
Mine just comes in like steals XT60 connectors and runs off.
It knows your weakness.
Yeah.
That's quite funny.
What sex, male or female?
Female for me. I like males.
On a preference, I'd go female if it had a gun to my head. Yeah.
Yes, often. No. Oh man.
Any more questions, Jack?
Men of XT60, but
thank you, Jack. Your evaluation is complete. We'll let you know.
I was going to be going to wing racing this weekend, but unfortunately it's been cancelled. So I'm not going wing racing this weekend.
Well, I wonder why. Because of the weather, maybe?
Well, they got one decent day. I'm attempting to fly a wing maybe on Saturday. Back with OpenHD.
Oh,
nice.
Which
you finally managed to mount the Ochin. Finally carved out enough space in the frame to fit something in.
Well, the Ochin is staying in the wing. I've got the Ochin 2 board that's now acting as the ground station because the Ochin 2 board has an HDMI out, which makes it slightly more suitable than taking a Raspberry Pi 4, which then I have to take a special basically I was taking a charger, working it in desktop power supply to supply it with 2.5 amps of 5 volts, and then plugging in loads of other crap. And now I just plug in like a 3 to 6S battery, and go from there. Although I did have to.
Like you're slowly optimizing. That's good.
I did have to make special USB cables where I have to find like a USB cable which is nicely shielded, cut it off, and solder on like about 3 millimeters of cable to attach to the Oaken board, so there's no space for it to go wrong.
Oh yeah, you were fighting with like bad USB leads and lack of kind of insulation and interference and things last time, weren't you? Did you get that resolved?
Yes, on this one, because on the OpenHD have rewritten their software from scratch after a lot of things happened. And one thing we found is if you try and use Ethernet over USB, it's hard-coded to a port that wasn't available in the Oaken 2 board. So now I'm using USB tethering, which is fine. But I found that if I use just a USB lead that I made up by plugging, like, it's one of these connectors, like a JST, into like a USB connector that I solder onto, and I plug USB into it, it wouldn't work. It would turn on USB tethering, and then I'd come out of setup, and then USB tethering would turn itself back off because it would decide that it's like this USB lead's too shit. So I have to then have the cable between the USB lead and the Oaken board this long, so there can't be any possible loss, and then that's okay again. So that's ready to go. I just have to take it to the field and not crash it into a bush this time.
What about tricopters, you whore?
The tricopter I flew last time has been taken apart, so that one's not flying again anytime soon. If I fly another tricopter, it's probably going to be the case of like I want to take David's old tricopter LR plans and print out some legs and stuff and make it up decently.
Any plan? How's the 7-inch going? Because you had this jumbo 7-inch that you were going to put. Was that the Open IPC quad, the 7-inch? Or was that the Open HD? Well?
There was the Open HD 7-inch, and then the Pi Zero was going to give me like a quarter of a frame of footage. And so it's like, this is not flyable. I can't figure out the problem. So that 7-inch has become the general thing to fly random VTXs.
VTXs,
so
yeah, those big boys.
That's the one that got the 5 watt VTX. So that'll go out again, see if we can get more range on it, because it seemed to have some sort of receiver problem where the DBI was going really high. It's like minus like 97 at 1.5 kilometers, and that's not right. And then when I flew my Chimera out that far, it was on 10 milliwatts and minus 80. It's like, well,
might it be because you're blasting 5 watt continuous over like a massive range of frequencies from the VTX?
It could be that. But what I didn't have there,
down to 2.4.
I haven't got the power on the ELRS, so because I'm using dynamic power, and if I like, well, if it's not jumping up to 1 watt, then it might be something different. So, but I've got a similar 6-inch quad that's going to have the Open IPC board that I looked at last time. I will start building that up, but the last thing on my list to do is go back to the terrible VTOL thing, which isn't working, and do the latest round of like, oh, I think you need to do this, which is, I think I did that like 4 or 5 months ago.
Wow.
To say, have you done this? Yes, I think I've done it.
Have they still not actually developed flyable software on their end yet?
That's correct.
Wow.
Don't mince your words there, lads.
It's basically, it's like, well, we're using ArduPilot, and it looks like ArduPilot, and it connects to Q ground station. But when I said, what version of software should it be flashing, because it doesn't know what it is, it's like, we're not using ArduPilot. I was like, what are you using then? What board is it?
Pilot project. They're like, we've never heard of this. We don't know what that board is.
Yeah, but they gave me a video of their setup. It's like, this is how you do the setup. And when you see their video, it says this is I think it said it's a tail sitter VTOL wing or something. That's it. And it had a version. My one goes, what version are you and what are you running? And it just goes, it just says unknown. And I was like, okay, what flight modes do you have? And it all like none. And I'm like, okay, I'll change the flight mode. No, that's grayed out. I can't click on anything. It's like, I don't think I can fly this because it won't work.
Doing that, Cole? Cole's got an Ardupilot hat.
Wow.
Yeah. My friend in Taiwan who owns a store, it's called Shengda. It translates to fly big, basically. It's called SD model, but it's Shengda. And yeah, he's like, here's a hat, and it's Ardupilot. He's like, he loves Ardupilot. He runs like all these crazy drones off of it. But I just figured I'd go grab that. It was kind of funny.
Nice. Yeah.
It's okay because you should just write not Ardupilot on the front of it because this is what we're running apparently.
Yeah. That's so weird. It's so strange.
I just can't wrap my head around these projects where they make a piece of hardware and they seem to think the software that's actually going to not make it smash itself to bits in the air is like an afterthought, and they don't need to worry about it. They're like, look, there's the physical thing. You can make it work, right? And everyone else is like, what are you talking about? What the hell is that?
The lack of any... I think I've told you guys that the lack of any useful... I remember sending the wiring to Jack because I said, Jack, look at these wires. You see the colors of them? I was like, they're not what you think. It's like they said the wires are random, so it's like red might be
spicy
PX,
ground.
and let's have white as 12 volts, and then we'll have green as I don't know ground, and then every single different connection you've got is a different set of wires.
Wow.
And which they did not supply a wiring diagram for, so you don't actually know what's what, and you can't trust the wires
What,
anyway.
You're saying you don't have a multimeter, Curry? Come on, you're a tester. I mean, reviewer. I mean, developer. All of the above.
I figured out what I thought it was, and then sent that to them and said, "Is this right?" And then they sent it back, saying, "Yes."
Probably.
I had this one cable again. I sent a picture of this to Jack, and you've got these two cables for the same connection, and it's like a 6-pin of this with like 4 pins connected, and one of them is on one side and the other cable is for the other side, and it's for the same connector, and you're like, well, which is this? And you can't trust any of the colors.
Caution, one pin is 25 volts.
Oh my god. I mean, there is a hang on. Hopefully this doesn't dox any info. I have to show this. There you go.
Oh, this was my attempt at doing it, wasn't it?
5-volt ground. Yeah, that's how I do it.
Yeah, this was my attempt at trying to figure out what it was based on other things they said and other connectors I had.
Nice.
And I was kind of right for most of it, but not some of it. So we had to correct that stuff. That was right actually. The ground 5-volt, 5-volt, 5-volt ground. I was like, why? I don't know.
A callous disregard for the users and the community, I think, is the only answer to that.
Yeah.
What's up, Cole?
Oh no, you were showing other stuff there. I wasn't sure if you were trying to show.
A lot of people would recommend putting a power wire directly next to a signal wire like S-Bus, but if you put 3 of them next to it, cancels out. It's fine.
The thing was, there were some pins going spare, so we thought, we'll just add more power to the board. That'll be better.
More power.
Yeah. Oh, it'd be interesting.
Works, right?
Either it'll fly or it'll crash horrendously and burst into flames. Either way, it'd be amusing, maybe fun. Who knows?
Just hover there and refuse to land.
I have to get Tony over to start jumping up for it and stuff.
If they paid a software developer like a week and done it sensibly, they could have had a working Ardupilot model, I'm sure, and then they could have been selling this thing like 6 months ago and actually gotten it in the market and had people talking about it. But
maybe they don't want to. Maybe they just want people to pay the $5,000 for when you get your special little radio that's got a screen built in, which works because they've managed to cobble it together and somehow works on this setup. And
upgrade anything.
Who knows?
Don't encourage Cole.
You're
Well,
all right.
good luck. It sounds fascinating. I can see you ending up probably flashing a totally different variety of software. Probably when iNav or Betaflight eventually introduce VTOLs, you'll be able to use it. But until then,
It's gonna sit on a wall somewhere.
I'm still stuck on the fact that, as far as we know, we can't add an OSD, because even though if you go to Ardu Pilot, it's like, oh yeah, absolutely, you can use the type of OSD that you'd use on WalkSnail or DJI, DisplayPort stuff, and that's in there. This is when they said this is not Ardu Pilot. It won't work like that. I was like, are you saying you've got all these output ports? You're saying I can't use one of them to chuck the right telemetry out to this? And they're like, no. So I'm like, I've got a plane here that flies, but I won't have any OSD. How do I know what's going on? It seems like they haven't really thought it through.
Experimental. The only answer is to use OpenIPC and Mavlink your OSD, and their problem solved.
It's got loads of Mavlink. It just doesn't do anything with it, apparently. Yeah, fun. We shall see.
Well, it sounds like a fascinating little puzzle. Something to do over winter. When the rain comes in, you can be like, "What the heck is this?"
Yeah, we should see.
No worries. That is unfortunately all we have time for. You've been listening to Let's Drone Out. We are sponsored by our lovely patrons. Thank you very much.
Thank you, lovely patrons.
We
Thank you.
really appreciate the support, and keeps the show on the road. Keeps Frank from strangling us individually one by one.
So far.
Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as he gets enough money in the Patreon account to get a taxi around all our houses, though, it's game over.
He's gonna need a really good taxi to get over to me.
Yeah, it's taking him a while. Eyes on the prize, Frank. Eyes on the prize.
And we're on the road to 10 years.
Steal Tony's kayak and just start rowing.
Bring a raincoat.
Murder kayak.
Such a nice Honda engine.
Feature presentation with Frank.
Yeah. You've been joined by everyone's favourite Curry Kitten.
Goodbye.
Our Lord and Master Andrew / Frank.
Bye.
The man with moustache Stephen.
Wake up, Tony.
My darling wife Tony.
Bye. I'm sure.
My buddy Cole.
See ya.
And I've been Bright to Fly. You've been listening to Let's Drone Out. Join us again next week. Tune in, like, subscribe, comment, share, send this podcast to your least favourite FPV mate and punish them. Thank you. Good night.